following program is rated.
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you already know that, but we have to tell you anyways in case you forget. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. I mean, I think we've gotten to that point already. I think we should know this by now. Anyways, today is Tuesday, December the 9th of 2025, day 343rd of the year, and only 22 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
Oh, yes, sarcasm and Radio Big. No other way to put it. That is for sure, as we are hanging out and doing our thing. Anyways, how's the last, let's see, 96 hours or so been? Because it's been a hot minute. Yeah, total cluster yesterday. That's why the no showingness, but it's okay. We're here again today, and you probably got a best of yesterday if the world worked out the way that it was supposed to. If it didn't work out the way that it was supposed to, then you got a rerun. But hopefully it was a best of episode, because that's the way that it's supposed to work out and do the things that happen. So anyways, how are things with you? How has it been? Have you taken a look around at everything that's going on inside of the world? Because that's always an important time to take a look at this. So there you go. Anyways, it's Christmas time, and that we're in that holiday season, so all kinds of fun stuff starts happening now.
We're turning your morning commute into festive fun without the reindeer poop.
So, yep, some festive fun, no reindeer poop. That's what we have going on today as we are moving forward. A lot of stuff to go upon in the show today. We're going to talk a little bit about this. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And we'll cover all of the plethora of information that is out there that we have not gotten to so far this week. But don't worry, we're going to
make sure to take care of you.
Anyway, so as I'm looking around, our show consists of safety in the news and safety if you're not aware of that. What we do on this show is we talk a little bit about this, a little bit about that, and we kind of bring in some professional broadcasters that know what the hell they're talking about and giving you some of the news stories. We'll give you some level of a main story at some point throughout, but don't worry about that. And then as we go down the path here, we'll go through the whole thing and then cover a little bit of this, a little bit of that. If you want to interact with the show, callinradio.com is the easiest way to do it. It's callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, text messaging are the options of the stuff that we can do together, so don't worry about that. This is episode 1255, in case if you're trying to track the numbers of everything that's going on. We do it as a radio show that goes into a podcast and drops into some video stuff. Some people tend to like that. If you want to take a listen to us live streaming, as we're doing that, radiobig.fm is one of the sequences and where we're at, and safetyfm.com. Of course, we're on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, and everything else that you can name under the sun in regards of doing some of the live show aspect of it. And then if you have one of those special podcast catchers, the podcast catchers 2.0, this thing will air live and in real time inside of the podcast catcher, but it has to be one of those very special ones. If not, right at the 8 o'clock hour Eastern time, we drop the podcast version of Hour Numero Uno. Don't worry, this is a 3-hour show. Hour 2 and 3 are exclusively to radiobig.fm as we talk a little bit about everything over there. So with that being said, I have my friends from Feature Story News waiting out, wanting to do their thing. So if you're good with this, I'm good with this, and we can go down the plethora of information that they have.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Brussels, I'm William Denslow. At least 10 people have died as fighting along the Thailand-Cambodia border intensifies. Both sides have accused the other of violating a ceasefire brokered by the US in July. Ukraine's leader Volodymyr Zelensky is preparing to present a revised peace plan to the US. The Ukrainian president has again ruled out surrendering land to Russia after meeting key European leaders in London on Monday. Kyiv is under continued pressure from the White House to agree a swift deal with Moscow. Former UK ambassador to the United Nations, Sir Mark Lionel Grant, says one avenue for discussions does appear to be gaining momentum.
A key issue for the Europeans is these frozen Russian assets. There's about 180 billion euros worth of frozen assets, mainly in Belgian banks. And it sounded from yesterday's talks at number 10 that some progress has been made on a European Union Commission proposal to find a way to use those assets to support Ukraine.
US President Donald Trump's announced that he will allow AI chip giant NVIDIA to sell its advanced H200 chips to approved customers in China. The decision comes after extensive lobbying by NVIDIA boss Jensen Huang, who visited Washington last week to drum up support. Laura Westbrook reports.
The decision to grant NVIDIA permission to ship its second most powerful chip to China in exchange for a 25% surcharge caps weeks of deliberations. US President Donald Trump reportedly said he informed President Xi Jinping about the move and that President Xi had responded favorably. The move is a victory for NVIDIA in its push to get Trump and Congress to relax export controls that have kept the company from selling its AI chips to the world's largest semiconductor arena.
The French Parliament will hold a crucial vote on Tuesday on the social security budget for next year. If the bill does not pass, the Prime Minister, Sébastien Lecornu, will certainly face calls to resign from the opposition. Ross Cullen reports from Paris.
It's a crucial day for the Prime Minister. So far, he has managed to get other parts of the 2026 budget bill through Parliament with a mix of different parties voting for the separate texts and after taking into account hundreds of amendments. But Tuesday's social security vote is a major hurdle. This stage needs to pass for the overall budget approval process to continue. But Emmanuel Macron's government allies say they will abstain rather than vote for the text. The opposition socialists will vote for the budget, but the opposition conservatives will not. It all leads up to confusing parliamentary arithmetic for the Premier, as dozens of MPs are likely to vote against their party lines.
And Hollywood's award season is underway, with the announcement of this year's Golden Globes nominations. Paul Thomas Anderson's film One Battle After Another led the pack, with 9 nominations. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, the bananas washing up on the south coast of England after 16 containers were swept off the deck of a ship over the weekend. Towards the end of a voyage that began in Latin America last month, the Baltic Clipper found itself sailing into rough weather in the Solent, the waters between the English coast and the Isle of Wight. And before the skipper of the vessel knew what was going on, the containers were suddenly in the drink. Ever since, bananas have been washing washing up on beaches after the container's cargo was washed away, instead of reaching the UK supermarkets for which they were destined.
Some were empty, one was carrying plantain and I believe avocados as well.
Steve Wenham is a seaman on Solent Cruises.
Well, the Baltic Clipper, she's a regular visitor to Portsmouth. She does this round-robin trip every month from the Bahamas to the Netherlands and then to Portsmouth. It's a routine voyage. She was anchored in Sandown Bay, just off the east of the Isle of Wight, and strong winds, not anything unusual for this time of year. A gust clearly blew containers off the side of the ship. To be fair, it's a mystery, because this sort of thing doesn't happen on a regular basis.
No, the British government is waiving a requirement for beachcombers to report any shipwrecked materials that they find or else face possible prosecution, but the authorities are advising people to throw the bananas away for fear that they are no longer fit for consumption. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. At least 10 people have died as fighting along the Thailand-Cambodia border intensifies. Ukraine's leader Volodymyr Zelensky is preparing to present a revised peace plan to the US. The Ukrainian president again ruled out surrendering land to Russia after meeting key European leaders in London Monday. And the French Parliament will hold a crucial vote on Tuesday on the social security budget for next year. And that's the latest Feature Story News. William Denslow reporting.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from J. Allen, Ph.D. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, Ph.D. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
We all want to make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, here we go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely, lovely day. Okay, so you know that as I get ready for this thing, we come in here, we start talking, we start taking a look around on what exactly is available and what we're going to talk about. And sometimes I land on some of the weirdest news stories that you can imagine. And I have to start off with this one because it's just one of those things that I was just kind of in shock. Bride's mother-in-law wants to keep cash gifts from wedding guests that she invited because she's loading the couple $30,000. In a post on Reddit Wedding Drama Forum, a bride explained that she and her partner are hosting approximately $80,000 wedding in Singapore with $30,000 in financial support from the groom's mother. Because she's helping pay for the celebration, the groom's mother is insisting that she keeps portion of the couple's monetary gifts. The bride is from Singapore and noted that it is customary to give cash as a gift as practical reasons, but also as a symbol of prosperity and good wishes, the bride clarified. Furthermore, she recognizes that $80,000 is a steep price to pay for a wedding, but in her culture, it's actually considered about mid-range due to the size of the event and the associated details. After the backlash and realizing how unfair the setup was, the couple postponed the wedding to 2027 and shrunk the guest list and refused the mother-in-law's money, cutting her out of the decision-making entirely. Only then did the mother-in-law acknowledge her demand was unreasonable. So I'm kind of confused here because let me just make sure that I understand and then you can tell me otherwise. I thought the groom's... Okay, no, hold on. Let me make sure that I get this right. The bride's parents normally pay for the wedding? Is that not correct? Has this changed over the years? I don't know. I don't have any kids that are married. I got married a while ago, so I'm not 100% sure. But isn't that how that's supposed to get? Isn't that how that's supposed to happen? Like, I thought that that's how it was. I could be wrong. You could tell me otherwise. But do you think that this is, well, number one, do you think the price $80,000 is crazy, number one, for a wedding? And then number two, if you're taking out a loan, which I think is a terrible idea, but we'll leave that for a different conversation. Can you really request? I mean, I guess you can request anything if you're loading the money out, but geez, man, that's kind of harsh. $30,000 and anything you get financial or anything money-wise, I want to cut immediately. She didn't just want a seat at the wedding. She wanted a seat at the cash register is what it sounds like to me. I mean, I don't know. So there you go. And let me continue some more. And I know that I'm kind of going into some of the obscure stuff right away, but let's start off with this one. Take a listen to this. Airbnb guests were shocked to find ridiculous rules for using the bed. A couple staying at an Airbnb in Istanbul found a very blunt note taped onto the bed that read, "Use only to sleep, no other activities." The couple visiting from Sweden said that they were surprised, especially since the bed note was only a warning label in the apartment. The TV remote had another sticker, "Use only to turn on and turn off the TV." There has even been a note explaining to the neighbors that were very sensitive to noise, which the couple suspected is the real reason behind the rules, not a citywide war on fun. Despite the odd signage, the couple they say that Istanbul is wonderful. Welcoming the notes shouldn't give anyone the wrong idea. Meanwhile, Reddit commenters had a field day with theories ranging of the owners doesn't wash the sheets to the bed will collapse with so much of as a wiggle. Airbnb told Newsweek that they couldn't confirm the listing, but noted that the host must disclose rules ahead of time. Nothing says romance like a flat out rejects you. I kind of have questions about the remote. and about some of the stuff that it says on there, because that's the one that's kind of making my brain go all over the place. But I think that we'll leave that for another day in regards of what we have to say.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's start talking right away about some things that are going on, because, we're here for some
major news stories.
So let's do that. Accused killer. Yes, this is what it says. Accused killer Luigi Mangione appeared in Manhattan criminal court for day 5 of the hearing to determine what evidence will be allowed on the trial. In court, the body cam of the footage from the December of 2024 arrest in Altoona, Pennsylvania, was played, showing the officers searching his backpack and allegedly pulling out a loaded magazine wrapped in wet underwear. Hopefully it was water. Another voice in the video reacts, "It's fucking him." Mangione was arrested at McDonald's after an employee recognized him as a suspect in the murder of the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson. His defense team is trying to suppress the backpack evidence and his statement to the police, arguing that the violation of his 4th and 5th Amendment rights. Prosecutors insisted the search was lawful and say that the only statement that made pre-Miranda was given a fake name. Prosecutors also recently released the 911 call that led to Mangione's capture, in which McDonald's manager reported a customer who looked like the CEO shooter from the magazine. Mangione faces multiple state and federal charges as the hearing continues. Like, is this the best idea to state that it was the McDonald's person that called it in? I'm just saying. Because you know how things get weird. I'm just asking the question. I mean, I'm not trying to be a punk here in regards to saying it, but man, why would you say that this was the person that called? It just gets kind of awkward altogether when you start thinking about it, when it's all said and done. I mean, what do you think? So there you go. I don't know. It gets into that strange land as we start talking. Anyways, take a listen to this. President Trump rolled out a $12 billion economic assistance package for American farmers, aiming to cushion the blow from major rough year of foreign sales. Much of tied to China pulling back the U.S. agriculture after tariff tension flared. Speaking at the White House roundtable, he said that he's stepping in because he loves farmers. As he joked, they vote for him. The relief will flow through the Farmers Bridge Assistance Program and cover major crops: soybeans, corn, cotton, wheat, rice, potatoes, as well as cattle operations. China's retreat on buying U.S. farm goods began after tariff disputes earlier this year, but following a recent trade truce, Beijing agreed to buy 12 million metric tons of soybeans this year and 25 million metric tons annually for the next 3 years. About normal historical levels, Trump was joined by key members of the economic team, including Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins. He defended his tariff strategy, insisting the tariffs are bringing in billions, really trillions, if you think about it. So there you go, there you go, there you go. What do you think? I'm just asking. So take a listen to this one, because this one occurred as well. Alina Habba resigned as the U.S. Attorney of New Jersey after a federal appeals court ruled her appointment was unlawful. She'd been running the office since March, long past her expected July end date, thanks to some Justice Department maneuvering that set off legal challenges over whether she was allowed to stay in the job. Rather than drag out a fight in the Supreme Court and risk ruling that could limit presidential power to appoint top federal prosecutors, she stepped down. Alina said that she's leaving to protect the integrity of the office, but she made it clear that she's not backing down. She's staying inside of the Justice Department as a senior advisor to Attorney General Pam Bondi, and says that her battle now goes nationwide. Meanwhile, the New Jersey office is in limbo. Her deputy, Desiree Lay Grace, was tapped by judges to replace her back in July, but Bondi fired Grace, accusing the judges of playing politics. So the seat at the top is empty and nobody knows who's getting the keys. So there you go, there you go, there you go. So what do you think? A lot of stuff. Let's continue talking about some other stuff. President Trump caught Marjorie Taylor Greene's 60 Minutes interview in the response with both barrels on Truth Social. He mocked her name, called her Marjorie Trader Brown, and claimed that she went bad only because she was jilted by him. He also tossed out the low IQ label and said that neither America First nor MAGA is arguing her Southern shift in views and makes her look clueless. Greene had told 60 Minutes America First, not MAGA. Trump said, nope, not buying it. He didn't stop there. Trump blasted CBS and Paramount for airing the interview, demanding a full apology and reminding them that they already paid $16 million over Kamala Harris segment. He also accused Leslie Stahl of previously libeling him over Hunter Biden's laptop story. Greene's response, short and sharp. She boasted, I am America First, and threw it one of Trump's own signature lines. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So there you go. Don't know what to tell you right there with that one.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so here we go. Let's start talking right away about some other stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Congress is gearing up to vote for the annual defense bill, and they're using the push Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to cough up the full unedited footage of controversial U.S. military strike in the Caribbean. The House wants the Pentagon to hand over raw video of strikes on the boats linked to the designated terrorist organizations, including September the 2nd incident where the second strike killed 2 remaining survivors on an alleged drug vessel. Lawmakers have only seen snippets of the footage so far, and they split on what happens. Democrats say that the surviving men looked helpless and should have been rescued under international law. Republicans argue the men were still a threat in attempting to get back in the fight. Hegseth has defended the restrike, saying that he has told the survivors still had radios that could link up to another boat to crank up the pressure. Congress tucked it in as a threat, and Hegseth doesn't hand over the complete classified video to the Armed Services Committee. His travel budget gets slashed by 25%. So there you go. Consequences is what it sounds like in regards to the stuff that is going on. So what do you think about this altogether? So there you go. There you go. There you go. I'm just asking. Just asking. Just some stuff to think about, that is for sure. Because there is no doubt here in regards of what is going on. So that is what happens. So here you go. Should I talk about this one? Do we want to talk about this one? Yeah, let's do this. Yesterday, TMZ Harvey Levin said during a wedding vows, people should promise to always stay in shape. Some of the male staffers agreed to this. Here's what it was said. Take a listen.
Everyone's in the best shape of their life on their wedding day.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because they're going to be the most photos, legacy, you know what I mean? Like,
they should make that part of the vows. Do you promise to stay exactly the way you are right now?
Harvey, you've never said anything smarter. That should be part of the vow.
Right?
And if you breach that part of the right? On both sides?
Yeah.
Well...
Okay, so what do you think there? Do you think controversy creates cash, or do you think that that's just kind of going down a rabbit hole of stuff that you definitely do not want to open when it is all said and done? I mean, think about that for just a brief moment in regards to that, because, you know, it's going to get weird if that is something that is a level of an expectation starting off. So what do you think when it's all said and done? You can go to callinradio.com, give me your thought process about the whole thing, because it does make it pretty interesting when it's all said and done. Let's not lie about this, because that's just kind of part of the pattern of everything that happens from time to time. Anyways, take a listen to this, because there's some stuff to talk about. Britain's descent into madness continues. A former professional soccer player in Manchester City, Joel Barton, received 6 months prison sentence on Monday for a satirical post that he made last year on X. Joey mocked TV commentators, comparing them to notorious serial killers Fred and Rose West. In another, he jokingly compared Al Rucco and Joseph Stalin to Pol Pot, quipping that she had murdered hundreds of thousands, if not millions of football fans' ears. Barton told the court that he was accrued banter. The 6-month prison sentence is suspended for 18 months, leaving time for an appeal, but Barton also banned from discussing Alruco or Ward online in any way, paying prosecution's costs, and completing 200 hours of community service. This is according to Sky News. So what do you think here? A lot of stuff going on. That is no doubt whatsoever as we are talking. Take a listen to this. The Virginia liquor store that went viral for the drunk raccoon is capitalizing on the attention. Go figure. Let's see which 3 signature cocktails paying homage to the incident. You can get the Rye Rascal Sour, the Trash Panda Old Fashioned, or the Midnight Mass Gin Fizz. Recipes courtesy of the Virginia Alcoholic Beverage Control Authority. This is according to ABC Virginia. The incident even included a spoof on SNL over the weekend, just in case. All liquor stores in Virginia are operated by the state, so I guess that makes it even more interesting when it is all said and done. Let's talk about this because this is one of these happy-go-lucky stories that we get to talk about from time to time. But the 88-year-old Michigan grocery clerk who went viral for continuing to work after retirement to pay off medical debt for his got a surprise of $1.7 million, a gift on Friday. The Australian influencer with nearly 8 million followers met Ed Barbas week before last and used his internet clout to crowdfund the money. More than 15,000 people chipped in. Bombas has no idea. They presented Bombas with a check on Friday. This is what's going on. He says that he's going to clear $225,000 in medical debt from his late wife's treatment, and then, of course, those who donated, and to those who donated, I find everybody and say thank you. So, I mean, that's going to 15,000 people. That's a lot of people to look up, but that is definitely a good story to hear as we are talking about some of this stuff. Take a listen to this one real quick. President Trump approved the sale of the high-end processors to China by NVIDIA on Monday. The part of the caveat is that NVIDIA will pay a 25% of all revenue from the sales to the federal government. Trump said similar model could be used for other chip makers like AMD and Intel. The Commerce Department is working on specifics. Let me give you some numbers real quick before we get too far away real quick. The Dow fell 215 points to close at 47,739 on Monday. The S&P fell 23 points to close at 6,846. And let's see, the NASDAQ fell 32 points to close at 23,545. West Texas Intermediate was at $58 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $62 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $2.95 on Monday, and Bitcoin ticked up on Monday, slightly trading back over $91,000. Anyways, it is 32 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's get into our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, some main story time, and let's start talking about some things that we need to address inside of the multiverse, inside of what we get to do, because that's always a fun time as
work is work, baby.
So as we get to continue talking down and moving down the path of everything that is going on, why don't we start talking right away about things that happen inside of the workplace? Now, listen, I'm going to tell you, I'm kind of amazed on how things happen inside of workplaces and then how things happen overall. So I'm going to tell you, or I'm going to reference this, and then you tell me the familiarity on how this occurs inside of workplaces. You are aware that you always have someone, or most of the times it seems that people have someone who they interact with at work, who they share more than what the standard employee relationship. I'm not saying employee-employer. I'm saying employee-employee relationship, where sometimes there are friendships that are built, but sometimes there are friendships that are built, but in use case scenarios, if that makes sense, where people are trying to see what information they can get, not really trying to be friends, just trying to see what gets them further in. Now, I'm going to tell you this because I think that it's interesting, but recently I was dealing with a issue where there was an employee-employee relationship where one person took information that one employee told another, and then their manager used that information against the employee that shared the info. And what am I saying here? One of the employees had a very, very big personal event that had occurred. They had shared it with another person, and all of a sudden the manager found out the information. The employee that the event occurred to did not share it with the manager. They shared it with the other employee. So oddly enough, the manager was trying to get the employee that the incident occurred to have a conversation and do some extra things. And they angled the very personal incident as part of their negotiating tactics on what was going on. Now, I will tell you, as a manager, as an individual, super shitty scenario to put the employee in. And kind of crappy as an end user of you treating your team members in that fashion. But we'll leave that for another day in regard to me complaining about that. But part of the sequence of this information, the manager, started having the conversation and started talking to the employee and addressing them down, how they needed to do this because of the personal scenario that they had. Like, seriously, this was a portion of the conversation. And then in return, the manager said, remember, I have ran these very large scale companies that I was involved in. So I know what I'm talking about, and you need to follow me. Now, the funny part is, the part of this story is that the manager in question that was talking to the employee and telling them what they needed to do after this very personal experience had been fired from all of these major companies that they were referring to. Terminated. Like their company was either acquired by a larger company and then terminated them because of how bad they sucked. Oddly enough, the manager didn't reference this, and I'm going to talk about working from a Fortune 500 company to working in a mom and pop. And if you worked for a Fortune 500 company and then you start working for a mom and pop and you start bragging about how great you were in the Fortune 500s that terminated you, probably not the best leg to stand on. But you're not going to reference that piece. I get that. So my question to you this morning, as we are doing our main story here, at what point is it okay for your management staff, your leadership staff, to take a very personal event and use it against you inside of the workplace? Because the more I talk to people, the more I realize this is becoming common practice. So my question is, how do you handle it and what do you do? There's so many questions to come up out of this.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly. Less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there. If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork.
When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' best life insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Compromise, unsense of wrong. Realize, Dr. J sparks the flame. He sparks the flame, lighting up the unchained game. Radar. Dark whips crawl.
Okay, here we are, 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday, doing all the fun stuff we get to do, no doubt about that. Yeah, 45 minutes past. Yeah, this right here, it's the anthem for the show. At least that's what it says it is. I don't know. I mean, I guess it could be the anthem of the song or the show. I mean, they do say Rated R Safety Show.
Rated R, no compromise.
Yeah, Rated R, no compromise. That is no doubt whatsoever about that. Anyways, let's continue talking about some things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that is kind of why we're here, talking a little bit about everything. And if anything, let me tell you about the most important part that I will ever tell you in my lifetime. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. We want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. To find out more information, go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com, and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, there'll be a plethora of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few, just to name how it is. And once you get there, I'm going to tell you, look around and realize that healing is possible. Like, seriously, no joke whatsoever. This is a conversation that we need to have all the time in regard about this subject matter, because it is that important. TWLOHA.com, to write love on her arms. Seriously. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise when it is all said and done. All joking aside, as we are hanging and banging on this lovely day. So let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that is kind of what happens. So you want to hear something? I heard this. I've heard kind of some mixed bags about some things. But this is one of these things that I'm kind of confused about. Making your bed every morning could actually have this health drawback. Science just handed every lazy person the victory lap to their dreams. Leaving your bed unmade might actually be healthier. While making the bed is often praised for boosting productivity, mood, and even your sex life, researchers show that it also traps the heat and moisture that you leave behind overnight. And that cozy little sauna becomes a dust mite paradise. Dust mites love warm, humid bedding, especially in the winter when homes stay sealed and heated. These tiny creeps can cause skin issues, allergies, respiratory problems, and make asthma worse. Studies show that up to 1 million mites might also be vibing inside of your mattress at any given moment. A Kingston University study found that waiting at least an hour before making the bed, letting the sheets air out with windows open, dries the environment and kills off mites. Experts don't abandon bed making entirely, just give it time to breathe. Wash the sheets weekly, deep clean the bed monthly, and wash pillows and duvets every 6 months. Hold on, every 6 months? That seems like a long ass time before you do that. And then here's the other thing. Can someone explain a deep bed cleaning? Because I want to understand that better. Do you know what that means? Because I'm sure lost in regards to that. I'm not 100% sure what exactly that means.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
I mean, I know there's somebody that comes over and does the shampoo upholstering on the furniture ever so frequently. Is the bed part of the gig too? I mean, I don't know. And I'm not saying this to kind of be, ha ha ha, this is funny. I'm saying this because I really have no clue whatsoever. Anyways, let's talk to somebody who is not clueless at all. Let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Marcy. James Cardinal Gibbons said, "There are no working hours for leaders." I understand this one more than you know. When I worked for others, I had regular hours. But I'd usually show up a little early and stay a little late. That helped me climb the ladder to a higher position, where the hours were better, but I still showed up early and I still stayed even later. That eventually led to me becoming the owner of my own company, where there are absolutely no hours. I would work whenever I felt like working. But for me, that was most of the time. I love what I'm blessed to do. If I'm not working, I'm thinking about work, but I love it all.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Russian missile and drone strikes pound Ukraine as peace talks with U.S. mediators grind on, raising fresh fears for civilians.
Officials say overnight attacks hit energy and transport sites, killing at least 2 people and injuring several others in eastern and northern regions. Local authorities report homes damaged and power outages as crews race to restore basic services. Ukrainian leaders accuse Moscow of using the bombardment to pressure negotiators during ongoing security discussions. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Benin's government says soldiers who briefly seized state television and declared the administration dissolved have been stopped and a coup attempt foiled.
According to the Interior Minister, loyal security forces moved quickly to regain control of key sites in the economic capital. Authorities say several suspects were detained after a short standoff and an investigation is underway. Officials insist the president remains in charge and daily life is continuing, though some checkpoints and patrols are staying in place. Chris Anderson reporting.
A deadly fire tears through a crowded nightclub in India's Goa state.
Emergency officials report at least 24 deaths after the blaze swept the popular coastal venue overnight, trapping people near exits. Authorities say the cause of the fire is under investigation and inspectors are reviewing whether safety rules were ignored. Survivors describe panic as power failed and visibility dropped, while families search hospitals and morgues for missing relatives. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
In Washington, pressure intensifies on Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth over a controversial follow-up strike on a suspected drug boat in the Caribbean.
Lawmakers from both parties are demanding release of full video from the mission, which killed people seen clinging to debris after an initial hit. Hegseth has defended the operation as lawful and necessary, saying troops followed the rules of engagement. Kyle Norris reporting.
Across the upper Midwest and Northeast, a sharp cold snap brought biting wind chills and more snow.
Temperatures dropped well below freezing, with gusty winds making it feel even colder in cities and small towns. A fast-moving storm system laid down several inches of fresh snow in some areas, slicking roads and runways. Airlines are urging passengers to check for delays, while highway crews pre-treat major routes and ask drivers to slow down. Kevin Sanders reporting.
At Pearl Harbor, the 84th anniversary of the 1941 attack is marked without any of the dwindling group of surviving veterans able to attend in person.
Organizers say only a dozen survivors remain nationwide, and age and health
health concerns kept them from traveling to the waterfront ceremony. The remembrance still featured military honors, a moment of silence, and a floral tribute on the water to those killed in the bombing. Families of service members, historians, and local residents gathered to reflect on the lives lost and the war that followed. Jessica Oakley reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
Okay, let's go ahead and talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1994, Surgeon General Jocelyn Elders resigns after masturbation comments. That happened back on this date, back in 1994. Let's talk about some things that you ought to... No, matter of fact, before we do that, let's talk about some celebrity birthdays for today. Judi Dench turns 91, Beau Bridges 84, John Malkovich turns 72, Donny Osmond 68, Felicity Huffman turns 63, and Jesse Metcalf turns 47. Now let's talk about some things you ought to know, because there's always some things that you ought to know. The Kansas City Chiefs just ate a 2010 loss to the Texans, dropping a brutal 6-7, basically torching their playoff hopes. Travis Kelce had a rough one too, including a rare drop from a Mahomes pass that helped seal the ugly outcome. Now ESPN Stephen A. Smith is saying that the quiet part is out loud. He thinks that Kelce is basically done with only 4 regular season games left and KC needing to win all of them to stay alive. Smith claims that it's likely the Kelce final stretch before retirement. He said that Kelce only came back this season because of how last year's Super Bowl ended, and that the Chiefs will be looking for a new tight end soon. So there you go. Also, in some other news, a booming stock market in 2025 has pumped up retirement accounts, and the Americans are cashing in big. Fidelity now reports that a record 654,000 401k millionaires. Meanwhile, the many clients have at least $1 million sitting in a 401k account. That's up from 595,000 just last quarter. All right, and T. Rowe Price are seeing the same glow up. The share accounts with 1 million or more roughly doubled since 2022, now hitting 3.2% and 2.6% respectively. Tonight's Mega Million jackpot will be for $60 million. Here's last night winning Powerball numbers. Jackpot was at $875 million, 8, 32, 52, 56, 64. Powerball was 23, and Power Play was 2. Since there is no jackpot winner, tomorrow's jackpot climbs to $930 million. So there you go. In some other news, NFL last night, the Chargers beat the Eagles 22-19. And in some other news, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky made clear yesterday that Ukraine will not give up any Ukrainian territory to Russia, rejecting the key demand built into President Trump's latest peaceful proposal. Speaking in London after meeting the leaders of Britain, France, and Germany, Zelensky said Ukraine has no legal or moral right to hand over land, and that the things it's fighting to defend. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. Anyways, this is going to be the end of our show. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to Radio Big.fm for the next couple hours or so. If you want to come and hang out over there, you're more than welcome on doing that. If you don't want to go over there and you want to continue staying here on Safety FM, not a problem. You can hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. So there you go. If I can't give you some words of wisdom for today, here's this. None of us is as smart as all of us. Think about that. And if I give you some advice for today, use a deodorizer to make from baking soda plus essential oils in small jars. Poke holes in the lid, place around the house, and boom, natural room freshness. You know, what we all need, some freshness in our life. At least that's the way that it seems most of the time. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, there is no reason to do what we do around here. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.